I initially came into the industry because I had a friend who was a songwriter, and I fell in love with her songwriting, and I wanted a good recording of her songs to take with me to college. For me, what I love about mastering is it really is that opportunity to make sure that the artist's vision is impacting the audience the way they want it to. My name is Anna Frick. I'm a mastering engineer and restoration engineer based in Boulder, Colorado. My studio name is Ally Sound. I found my way into mastering kind of by accident. I went to school at CU Denver in their recording arts program, got a degree in music business and audio engineering, and worked in a bunch of different studios, and eventually landed a role as the assistant engineer at Airshow Mastering. I really started falling in love with that last aspect of the production process. I started staying late and learning all the different engineers' workflows and playing around with all the different gear and going back to the mastering engineers' notes, the recall notes, and trying to understand why they were doing what they were doing. That reverse engineering is so much fun because you get to, understand, something that's done and has been approved and everyone's really pleased with and is out in the world, making its way. And then you get to, you get to figure out what's under the hood and really what's going on in the inner workings and get in the mind of the engineer to figure out why they made those decisions. I was in this world-class facility with world-class gear, so I was completely spoiled. And, Grace is local to me, so being able to go to the shop and see what was going on was really exciting, and to be able to talk to Mike and Evan. And I really just fell in love with the sound of the gear and how easy it was to use and intuitive. What I really need in my workflow is something that's just clean and reliable. Mastering, because it involves the process of conversion and, all those conversions, I want the highest quality and I want it to sound really good, and I get really, really picky about how that sounds. Because I had heard Grace gear before, I was really excited about how this interface might sound and what it could add to my workflow. I did a whole lot of testing, against my other converters that I had been using. And, ultimately the Grace just came out on top. It sounded incredibly clean, and it was almost plug and play for me. The setup for the 701 was so easy, really a lot of flexibility in how I got it working into my system. I generally have a pretty static setup, but I do have some variations, and to be able to change between those very quickly is super awesome and just makes my workflow that much easier. And I don't have to think about as many things. The thing about mastering is that it's a very transparent process in the sense that everything I'm doing in here has to translate out into the world. I have to know exactly how it translates. And so having transparent converters, really allows me to hear what's going on and understand how it's going to work on a car stereo or your AirPods or wherever you're going to listen to it. The cleanness of the signal and the ease of the interface really allows me to focus on, making the sonic manipulations that I need to make to be able to make great records. The Grace, the 701, is the linchpin in my system because, that's what feeds everything. It feeds my console, it feeds my monitors, and it allows me to do what I need to do without any hindrance. Again, easy to use, great interface, and it looks slick. So.
Amazing. Fucking A.
Great. Frickin' A. Frickin' A.
Frickin' A. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yes.